The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zethkar of the Valdorian Empire delivered his final ultimatum. His 6 eyes gleamed with predatory satisfaction as he surveyed the assembled representatives of lesser species. The humans have 72 standard hours to surrender their colonies, he declared, his mandibles clicking with authority. Their little civilization has expanded far enough. It ends now. Across the vast hall, murmurs of agreement rippled through the gathered delegates. The crystalline hierarchy's representative chimed in harmonious approval. The hive mind collective buzzed their consent. Even the ancient ethereal consciousness flickered with reluctant acknowledgement. Humans were a curiosity, a young species that had somehow managed to spread across dozens of star systems in mere centuries. But they were also reckless, unpredictable, and worst of all, they refused to acknowledge the natural order that had governed the galaxy for millennia. They breed like parasites, hissed the Serpentine Dominion speaker. Their expansion threatens the stability we have maintained for 10,000 cycles. Ambassador Chen Wei-Ming stood slowly from the human delegation's modest section. The elderly diplomat's weathered face showed no emotion as hundreds of alien eyes fixed upon him. He had served humanity's interests in this chamber for 15 years, watching as suspicion toward his species had gradually transformed into outright hostility. The United Earth Federation will consider your terms, Chen said simply. His voice carried no defiance, no anger, just quiet dignity that somehow made the massive aliens around him seem smaller. The other delegates exchanged glances. They had expected rage, threats, perhaps even the famous human irrationality their species was known for. This calm acceptance was unsettling. Zethkar's mandibles clicked in irritation. You have 72 hours. Not 1 second more. Chen nodded once and gathered his modest datapad. As he walked toward the exit, his footsteps echoed in the sudden silence. No other species had ever received such an ultimatum and responded with such composure. What the assembled powers of the galaxy didn't know was that Chen's first message upon leaving the chamber wasn't to Earth's government or military command. Instead, he sent a single, encrypted transmission to a seemingly unremarkable research station orbiting Kepler 442b. Dr. Sarah Kim received the message while conducting her daily observations of the local children's playground. The research station, officially designated as an agricultural development facility, housed 300 human families. To any external observer, it appeared to be exactly what its classification suggested: a peaceful farming community helping to terraform a new world. The children played in the station's central dome, their laughter echoing through the transparent aluminum walls as they chased each other between carefully maintained garden plots. 8-year-old Marcus Chen, no relation to the ambassador, was currently it in an elaborate game of tag that had evolved its own complex rules over the past months. Dr. Kim, her assistant called out, interrupting her observation. Priority message from the council chambers. Sarah read Chen's coded communication twice before its implications fully registered. She looked back at the playing children, then at the gardens where their parents worked, tending crops that would never exist in any agricultural database. Those weren't vegetables growing in the carefully arranged plots. They were components of the most sophisticated weapon system ever conceived. The children weren't playing tag. They were running tactical simulations. And the parents weren't farmers. They were engineers, strategists, and operators of technology that would have terrified the Galactic Council's greatest military minds. Sarah activated the station's internal communication system. Her voice remained calm and measured as she made the announcement that would echo across 47 human colonies within the hour. Playtime is over, children. It's time to show our new friends what we've been practicing. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out with identical tranquility. On Proxima Station, 10-year-old Jennifer Liu finished her arithmetic homework, calculations that happened to describe precise orbital mechanics for relativistic projectiles. On New Geneva Colony, a kindergarten class completed their art project, a colorful mural that encoded targeting solutions for defensive arrays hidden in the system's asteroid belt. The human colonies had spent decades preparing for this moment, not with the massive military buildups that other species would have recognized as threatening, but with something far more dangerous: the patient, methodical preparation of an entire civilization that had learned to hide its true capabilities behind a facade of innocent normalcy. As the 72-hour deadline approached, The Galactic Council's fleets moved into position around human space. Veldorian dreadnoughts, crystalline battle formations, and collective war swarms took their designated coordinates with confident precision. Fleet Admiral Zeth Kul, commanding the operation from his flagship, watched the human colonies with growing puzzlement. Long-range sensors detected no military mobilization, no defensive preparations. The settlements continued their daily routines as if unaware of the massive armada preparing to obliterate them. Perhaps they truly intend to surrender, his tactical officer suggested. Or perhaps, Zeth Kul mused, they are simply paralyzed with fear. The deadline arrived with characteristic human punctuality. As the final second ticked away, Chen transmitted humanity's response from the council chambers. The United Earth Federation respectfully declines your terms. Zeth Kul's mandibles spread in a predatory grin. All ships commence bombardment. Show these primitives the price of defiance. The galaxy's most powerful weapon systems activated simultaneously. Antimatter torpedoes, quantum disruptors, and reality warping devices aimed at human colonies across dozens of systems. None of them fired. Across the assembled fleet, confusion turned to alarm as weapon systems failed to respond. Worse, the ships themselves began drifting out of formation as their navigation systems received new instructions from sources that should not have existed. On Kepler 442b, little Marcus Chen looked up from his sandbox and smiled. The patterns he had been drawing in the sand were precise mathematical equations that described the quantum entanglement protocols now embedded in every major military system in the galaxy. His sister Anna, building a castle nearby, added the final component to her structure. The architectural principles she had unconsciously incorporated matched the control algorithms that had just seized command of half the galactic. Council's fleet, Dr. Kim watched with quiet pride as her children's innocent games revealed their true purpose. For 15 years, human colonies had operated an education system designed around a single principle: teach the next generation to think in ways that no other species could predict or counter. The children had learned mathematics through games that encoded military strategies. They had studied art through projects that disguised weapons designs. They had played with toys that were actually components of a defensive network spanning dozens of star systems. Most importantly, they had done it all while genuinely remaining children, laughing, learning, and growing up in communities that looked exactly like the peaceful farming settlements the galaxy believed them to be. As Zeth Kul's flagship found itself gently but inexorably guided into a stable orbit around Kepler 442b, he received a final transmission from Ambassador Chen. We tried to tell you that humans value their families above all else. Chen's voice carried across the void with the same quiet dignity he had displayed in the council chambers. Perhaps next time you'll remember that sometimes the most dangerous opponents are the ones who fight not with anger, but with love. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity's children finished their games and returned to their studies, leaving behind a transformed political landscape where the young species that had seemed so helpless now held the military assets of every major power in their small, careful hands. The lesson was clear: never underestimate a species that could teach its children to reshape the universe while still leaving time for afternoon snacks and bedtime stories.